Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Ahead on our news tonight, Bahamians acknowledge the death of Christ in Good Friday services around the archipelago. The Bahamas is once again in the CDC's good books, now at level 1 travel advisory. And the Minister of Health says the vaccination rate in the country is still of concern for healthcare professionals. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kendino Knowles. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention further de-escalating the Bahamas' COVID-19 travel risk advisory to a level 1, which is very low. The rating advises international travelers to be up to date with their COVID-19 vaccines before traveling. The de-escalation in rating comes just 3 weeks after the CDC reduced the rating from a level 3 to a level 2 on March 24th. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Darville says the level rating reflects the sustained downward trend in COVID-19 infection rates in the country, which is due in small part to the manner in which Bahamians and residents have adhered to COVID-19 protocols and bodes well for the tourism industry and our wider economy. Dr. Darville cautioning, however, that while our trends have been encouraging, recent international reports have confirmed surges in infection rates in China and some parts of Europe, which proves that COVID-19 is still very much with us. Vaccination rate is still a concern for the government. That's according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Michael Darville, who says that right now the vaccinations are still hovering at around 50% of the total population. Dr. Darville says that number to be much higher.
We need to get that number to 70%. We're doing a lot of different new techniques in order to encourage Bahamians to come forward to be vaccinated, because vaccinations save lives. Vaccination prevents hospitalization, and with the possibility of a new variant out there coming closer to our shores, we encourage Bahamians once again to show up at our vaccination sites.
He also explained how vaccinations impact the overall healthcare system.
The more people are vaccinated, the better chances are for us to ensure that our hospitals do not burst from the seams and we're able to deliver a quality healthcare service outside of COVID. You must understand that COVID has taken a lot of time and diverted a lot of resources that could be used to treat chronic non-communicable diseases. And we are encouraging Bahamians everywhere to please go and get vaccinated, and for those who have not received their boosters, to do so.
Now, the latest vaccination numbers published by the government, dated March 19th, indicated that just over 163,000 people had been fully vaccinated in the country. The Prime Minister has declared Monday, April 18th, the National Day of Prayer, and a service will be held at Bahamas Faith Ministries in recognition. The announcement following a surge in murders on New Providence. Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernandez says he's calling for a national campaign.
I have called for a national campaign. And if we all can see it as our problem, and not just the church problem, the government problem, or the police problem, just as we said, just say no to drugs, just as we said abstinence was the best policy, I believe we can fight this and bring about change in our country.
On this Good Friday, Christians around the world are pausing to observe the death of Christ. While today is a day of penance and sorrow, St. Christopher's Anglican Church Rector is admonishing Christians to see the good in Good Friday.
Rector of St. Christopher's Anglican Church, Bishop Leish Boyd, noting that although Jesus died on Good Friday and it is a solemn occasion, there is still some good in the day. He says Christians can unpack this day in 4 ways, specifically using the letters of the word good. The letter G, he says, stands for the good.
There was good in the scene on Good Friday. For although Jesus was being crucified, Simon turned up to help him. A total stranger just traveling through the city. There was good on Good Friday because what happened drew the disciples closer together. It was horrific and devastating, but it drew them closer together. There was some good on that first Good Friday because Mary connected with the disciples more, and David Huff.
The O, he says, stands for the oh my goodness moments that will come throughout life.
The God who is good is the God who keeps us in those oh my goodness moments. And in those oh my goodness moments, we must seek to turn whatever the circumstance toward God, rather than being lost in ourselves. The second O in the word good is for opportunity. An opportunity is that which presents itself and allows us to do something at that moment.
And finally, the letter D represents the divine. He challenged Christians to see God and to see the divine in all circumstances in life.
Seeing God in your circumstance, knowing what God wants you to do in your situations, knowing how you could make a difference given your circumstances, your opportunity. How can you make a meaningful difference right now? That's called seeing the divine in life.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepherd.
All right, thanks a lot, Megan. Showers are in the forecast with a 70% chance. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at holiday temperatures. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks, Kendino. Welcome, everybody, for this first look at weather on this Good Friday evening. Gray skies outside our studios right now. It's muggy. Temperatures are in the upper 70s with some showers and thunderstorms lurking around. The winds out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour, and factoring in the relative humidity, it feels like a very muggy 80 degrees. Satellite view, active pattern across the northwest Bahamas, combination of a couple of things. A frontal boundary well to the north across central Florida, as well as an upper level disturbance that's moving through. That's helping to trigger some showers and thunderstorms, prompting some severe weather warnings earlier today. And we will continue to watch that pattern evolve as the evening goes on. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, we are taking a trip down to Grand Bahama for a check on fish sales this Easter and keto buns for a healthy alternative at Easter. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
Many Bahamians suffering from chronic non-communicable diseases such as diabetes reaching for that hot cross bun today may mean putting their health at some risk, but a keto-friendly bun is making its way in the homes of many wanting to enjoy the delectable treat. And if you're just on a better health mission, then this one's for you.
Perfection. Guilt-free perfection.
That's how Gimme Gourmet owner Oteria O'Banier sums up his ketogenic take on classic hot cross bun. The keto diet has become popular and favored by some persons suffering metabolic diseases such as diabetes. Research suggests that people with type 2 can slim down and lower their blood sugar levels because of its low-carb characteristics. It's exactly what makes the Gimme Gourmet hot cross bun guilt-free.
It's beyond ketogenics at this point. Most people would just say it's a keto bun, but again, ketogenics has the high fat component. What we've managed to do is keep the fat low, keep the calories low, keep everything low except the fiber, and keeping the sugar extremely low to the point that it's nil. So being able to do that and keep you at that balance is, I'll call it perfection. The guilt-free is that it has zero sugar. There's no carbs, there's no gluten, there's nothing in it. It's the best version of the worst thing that persons could have that are diabetic.
And if that's made you more interested, O'Banier gave me a glimpse into his top secret recipe: nut flour, plant-based oil, and other classified ingredients. It was seeing his grandmother unable to enjoy the classic bun due to a metabolic condition that he says made him go the extra mile to help so many others experiencing the same conditions not miss out on the Easter classic. And for him, it's the best feeling in the world.
To see, persons being able to actually enjoy this and in the capacity or in the quantity that they want to enjoy it without having to worry about, I gotta pop a pill or I may have to get rushed to the hospital or anything of that nature. It's actually very, very satisfying. Big reveal on hot cross buns. Tell me what you think.
Oh wow. Alright, that's really good. And now that you've got your keto buns, a Good Friday meal cannot be complete without fish, of course. Over on the island of Grand Bahama, our team visiting the local seafood market, Megan Shepherd, has more.
Sweeting's key native and vendor at the market, Taria Davis, says she's been doing this since the age of 12 and even calls it an obsession with seafood.
Now, I was in the U.S. yesterday. I fly back just for this moment. I'll be leaving again on Monday, so I just had to be here because I love to sell the fish. I like to make the people buy the fish. I like making money. Anything to do with fish, conch, whatever, I love it. I just love it.
Davis shares the most popular types of fish and common preparation techniques.
Snappers. Okay. That's the hot seller there. Okay. Snappers, because they go around pretty easily and they buy like $20. They have $20 and they buy 5 in the bag for $20. So it shares beyond with the family very well. Okay, this is one of our popular groupers, Nassau grouper. I don't know what I name it Nassau grouper, but it is. It's in Freeport, but it is a Nassau grouper, and it's a very popular seller for restaurants and persons that like to buy and make a good stew or boil.
Unfortunately, she admits that the price of fish have gone up this year.
The gas, the fish, the boatmen's actually, the gas went up, so the boatmen's went up on their fish. So when we purchase wholesale, we had to go up on our fish. And I know the Bahamians don't like it, but I can't help it. And I do give discounts, but you got to come to me.
Resident Kevin Russell says he's a regular at the market and believes in supporting local.
Oh, we're going to have some fried fish and some hot cross buns.
Okay.
And this is the time for it. And I'm just happy to see that this place is there's so much activity here. That's good. Yeah. That bodes well for us. And I'm happy.
Yeah.
The fishermen can, despite the fuel shortage, these guys are out here with belts on. I like that.
He shares his Easter holiday plans.
Well, just sit down and relax. This is the greatest religious time of the year. So we got to acknowledge it and pay homage to it. And that's what I'm going to do.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepherd.
And still to come in Our News Sports, we're going to find out why our tennis juniors have to pay to play. And our Marcellus Hall is in Kingston, Jamaica at the Carifta Games. The details when Our News returns.
Got size at 6'5".
Hi, this is Shamika.
This is Our News. Welcome back. National tennis juniors often pay half the cost of their plane tickets when traveling on national team trips. The Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association saying it's customary in other sports for the cost of trips to be fully covered. However, funding shortages mean the BLTA has a long-standing practice of having players' parents go in their pockets for trips. The BLTA says the policy is that if a player cannot afford it, the next player up is selected. However, President Perry Newton Jr. says he hasn't seen a situation where a player couldn't pay.
I've never encountered anybody who was not able to pay half or who indicated that they weren't able to pay half. We try our best to mitigate the costs. The association, like all other associations, they borne the cost 100%. And whenever we can get sponsorship for the teams, we try to mitigate the costs as much as possible.
Newton Jr. says there are times when the association is able to pay the full cost for team travel. He says there is some funding from the government and the International Tennis Federation, but the association mainly relies on sponsors.
We try to be in a position whereas we can send out our teams, whereas they don't have to worry about anything. And we've been doing a pretty good job of meeting up with our obligations, and the parents do the same. I would say that 70% of the persons, they didn't have to pay anything up front, and we're now in the process of seeking the reimbursement.
And still on sports, here's Marcellus Hall with a schedule for Carifta games.
Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, our Carifta teams are safely at their various locations. Our swim team left town yesterday in high spirits and are ready to begin competition tomorrow. The team safely will be in Bermuda now over the next 4 days for a competition there. Meanwhile, our track and field team, they're all set to go as well. Track and field activities begin tomorrow. Taking a look at your schedule for day one. We'll give you full details once Team Bahamas gets into the field, and as well give you details on what's happening with swimming during the course of the weekend. That's your check on sports. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Still to come on our news, weather with Greg Thompson. And as a Christian nation, the Bahamas acknowledges the death of Christ. We will show you how Christians worship today.
Got size at 6'5".
Hi, this is Shamik.
Welcome back to our news, and thanks for staying with us this Good Friday. It's time now for your extended weather forecast with Greg Thompson. He's in the Weather Center now. Greg?
Thanks again, Kendino, and welcome everybody on this Good Friday evening. A soggy and wet pattern across the northwest Bahamas, courtesy of a couple of features. One, a surface front just to the north of the Bahamas across the central portions of Florida. An upper level disturbance that's actually moving across that area, and that abundant moisture across the northwest Bahamas, triggering some showers and thunderstorms. We did have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings earlier today. We could see one or two more of those later on tonight as the system sides slowly towards the south and east. Should get out of the Bahamas by the end of the weekend, but we do expect a low pressure system to try and form just to the east of the Bahamas by early next week. We will continue to watch that over the next couple of days. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Caution flag posted for those gusty winds and showers. Southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide will be at 7:52 tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag posted for you guys down there. East to southeasterly wind flow 15 to 20 knots. It will be gusting at times. Seas will be running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through next Friday. Upper level disturbance will be in place throughout the weekend. We could see some more showers in the forecast. Back to you, Kendino.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. And thank you for joining us for our news tonight on this Good Friday. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kendino Knowles. We leave you now with scenes of Good Friday worship. Have a wonderful evening.